That's what this is. Now we figure out the meter, okay? So the meter, if you'll look at letter D on the last page of your poetry terminology sheet, you will see that then these feet work together. We count them. And so the pair then is called the feet. All right, so this is 1 foot right here. This is 1 foot. This is 1 foot. This is 1 foot. And then we have the 1 foot at the end. So how many feet do we have in this line? 5. So now we can figure out the meter. So I give you a list there, 1 through 8, on the 3rd page of your poetry terminology handout. The most common ones are tri-meter. How many feet do you suppose tri-meter has? 3. Tetra-meter,
4.
which has 4. And pentameter, which has 5. Now let's talk about tetrameter for just a minute. How many of you have ever played Tetris? How many shapes are there in Tetris? 4. How many little squares does each shape have?
4.
4. Now you know why it's called Tetris.
Ah.
Okay? So, tetrameter then is going to have 4 feet. Trimeter has 3 feet. Pentameter, why do you suppose it's called penta if it has 5? How many sides does the pentagon have? 5. Okay, so pentagon, the pentagon has 5 sides. Okay, yeah, I don't know if you've ever played Pente, the little game with the rocks. Okay, it deals in 5s. Okay, a pentangle, we're going to talk about that next week with Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, a 5-pointed star. It's called a pentangle. So, penta means 5. Hex, then, means 6. So if it's hexameter, then it's going to be 6, and so on. I give you the list there. So this, if we were going to label this line, it would be what? What is the feet?
Iambic.
Iambic. And what is the meter?
Hexameter.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Penta.
So that's how you would label it?
Iambic pentameter, or iambic pentameter. Either one is correct. Okay? All right. Let's then answer question number 6 on your study guide. It says copy out line 6 of the general prologue. So everybody look at line 6. It says, and I'll go ahead and read it out loud for you so that you can divide it correctly. Inspired hath in every holt and heath.
What are you reading?
Line 6 in the general prologue on page 170.
Gotcha.
I'll say it again for you. Inspired hath in every holt and heath. So, let's follow the pattern up here. Divide the words into syllables. You're going to mark the stresses and the unstresses based on deciding whether the first word is a downbeat or a pickup. And then identify the pattern. Okay, let's let everybody have a chance to mark. Okay. This one should have 3. Inspired. And there should be one other word that has two.
Every.
Okay. So which words do we need to divide into syllables? Inspired. How many syllables is, and remember I pronounced it inspired, so where are we going to divide it? Inspired. Inspired. Are there any other words that are multisyllabic? Every. Okay, so now, let me ask you a question. If we've already marked one line, and we figured out its iambic pentameter, unless the poet is just doing something weird, shouldn't all the lines be iambic pentameter?
Yes.
Yes. So, if we've already marked another line, that's a good indicator for us at this point that this line should fit the same pattern. So, we're going to mark the stressed and unstressed syllables. What about the word inspired or inspired? Which of those three syllables gets the stress?
Spy.
The middle one. So aren't we going to mark that very same way? Inspired. Inspired. Inspired, we would say, in modern English. So inspired, we would still emphasize that second syllable. Inspired. So half needs to be which one? Stressed. In. Every.
Stress, unstressed.
Stressed, unstressed. Holt. Unstressed. Now, how do you know if you're right or not? Well, you can always read it and see if it fits. So we could say, inspired, half, in every, Holt, and Heath. Does it sound like we've stressed the right syllables? Yes. Now, let's go back and let's pretend like, okay, we're not sure we're right. Okay? Let's flip it around and see if it would work just as well the other way. Okay, what if we started with the stress instead? Then we would have inspired, half in, every, Holt, and Heath. Does that seem to flow? No. Which would show you that, no, there's a problem there. Okay, that's the whole point of feet and meter. And that is it's supposed to be rhythmic. It's supposed to flow smoothly if we do it the way that the author has intended for it to be done. So once again then, now we go back and we identify the pattern by looking at the, so what kind of feet do we have here?
Iambic.
Iambic feet. Remember, unstressed, stressed is iambics. We have iambic feet. And what meter do we have?
Pentameter.
Pentameter or pentameter. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 of them. So I ask you in number 6 then, which syllable that is usually silent in modern English must be pronounced in order to make the line read as regular iambic pentameter?
Red.
Yeah, it's the ed here. We have to pronounce that, just like we did a while ago in the line that we had. We can't just say inspired, half. You see, we have two stresses together, and that wouldn't work. So instead, he says inspired, half. And so Shakespeare does this as well. All of Shakespeare's plays are written in iambic pentameter. And so sometimes he has to stress an odd syllable or whatever so that it makes it flow well. Okay. Edie, you can turn that off. Question.